about the school to prison pipeline and even the preschool to prison pipeline. But what I have learned during my time as a mother is that it's really the motherhood to poverty pipeline. Let me explain. All of these pipelines and all of these issues with literacy in the education system, they are intentional to hurt women. Okay, it is a form of punishment towards women, mainly Black women, brown women, or women who have had disabled children. So you enter a relationship, you get pregnant. If you decide that because of the actions of the father, abuse, cheating, whatever it may be, fraud, if you make the decision to leave that man and not put up with whatever abuse he is throwing at you, you now have to enter into punishment. Because how dare you not allow him to cheat, beat, and do all the horrible things that are causing a hostile environment at home? How dare you leave an attempt to protect yourself and your child from abuse? How dare you? So now you have to be punished. You're going to be punished firstly in that all these programs that pro-lifers told you were waiting on you if you kept that baby, they have waiting lists, sometimes years long. Okay, so even if you have a job or had a career, returning to that career is going to cost you. It's going to cost you about $500 a week, right? Unless you have a support system. Okay, unless you have a support system or you have money saved, it's going to cost you. So what ends up happening? A lot of times women stay home. And you're hoping, at 3, you get to throw that kid in Head Start. We have Head Start here. Not so fast, though, because depending on volume, Head Start could also have a wait list. And don't you have a kid with a disability or special needs? Because now there are even more hurdles to that child getting into a daycare. And don't you have a Black boy? Because now you're in the preschool to prison pipeline, to where if your child is anything less than a submissive, broken male who just sits in class and doesn't say anything or do anything, he's going to be targeted. He's going to be kicked out. He's going to be labeled. Okay, so then you just thought, all right, well, he can't go to preschool. They can't go to preschool. So kindergarten's going to be your lifeline, right? When your kid starts kindergarten, you're going to finally get back to work. Not so fast. If your kid has a late birthday, you're going to have to wait a whole nother year. So your kid's not going to be able to start kindergarten until they're at least 6. All right. On top of that, if you are not the mother of a straight white male or a straight white female, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Because again, if your child does not fit into a stereotypical role that white supremacy, that teacher can peg, or it's not even about white supremacy because the Black teachers do this too. If your child is not the submissive, buck-broken, mammy slave archetype that they can put your child into, and your child can just sit in class and never ask questions, never move, never do anything, but be submissive, then now you're in for the bureaucratic games, the calls to pick up, the sending them home early. So all of this, and don't let your child be disabled or special needs and Black. The school system is going to push them out. Okay. As a matter of fact, the school system will fight you with their lawyer before they will give your Black child any type of accommodations. They will pay legal fees to deny your child accommodations. So now where are you at? It's been 5 years. You haven't worked. If you were lucky enough to have family to support you, or maybe you just swallowed your pride and you're letting that man cheat on you. And you haven't gone to the gynecologist because you've been too busy taking care of the kids. So you don't know HPV sitting on your cervix. That's going to be, a nice surprise for you in a couple of years when it's stage 4 cancer because you never went and got checked because you're too busy bouncing your kids around. You're too busy going to pick up your kid. It's all intentional. It's all to harm women. This is what pro-lifers don't tell you. It's not as easy as you have that baby and there's daycare waiting. And don't let me get started on housing, because even if you are working, when the schools start their bullshit, you're going to lose that job. Okay, most jobs are not understanding of your kids. You having to leave to pick up your kids. So now you're getting evicted. Now your house is getting foreclosed on. And now what? You're in the family shelter until you get placed into one of the high crime, low income housing complexes in your area. And now, in addition to having now your credits wrecked, now your children are in a high crime, dangerous area, as are you. And now you're kind of stuck. Because while you don't want to be here and while you're scared to be here, what are your options when your kid can't go to preschool, your kid can't go to kindergarten? And a lot of people say, oh, well, your kids should act right. I'm talking about kids who are born with disabilities, like kids who are born, like their brains. Okay. And it's as simple as the school system implementing accommodations, sending them to the separate classrooms, but they don't think black kids are worth it. So they don't do it. And then we see this as evidence in the literacy rates. For example, in Gaston County, the black children are at the bottom. It's because they're not in school. They're sent home. Okay. They're not given the accommodations. They're not given the one-on-one. They're not giving anything to help them be successful in a classroom when they have disabilities or when they have special needs. Because the system does not think black children are worth the investment. So they don't give it to them. They don't offer it to them. They just tell you to come pick them up. And they just watch you go straight into poverty. And it pleases them. It pleases them. They love it. They love the thought of, we got another one. We got another black family. Mom can't work. Kid can't go to school. We got another one. And we're going to go over here and we're going to give the white kid on the other side of town a one-on-one aid that costs $30,000 a year because that's a good investment. That's a good use of our money. Little Johnny, even though there's a high possibility in high school he's going to shoot up his school. Right now, we're going to give him everything because that straight white male is the best investment of our money. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. If you are a black woman or a brown woman, specifically Hispanic, you cannot afford to have kids if you don't have the money to put them in daycare if you're working, or if you're going to homeschool, you don't have the money to sustain yourself in a safe environment. Or, you're going to be okay getting cheated on, beat. Motherhood is a direct pipeline to poverty and struggle for most women. It's not just going to be okay. You can't just pray about it. Prayer is not going to fix all the issues I've outlined here. It's just not. You're going to be stuck, or you're going to be dependent on family, which could be a good or bad thing. But even still, the village is busy. Okay. A lot of people, our moms are still working. Okay. Grandma is in her old age. She can't take care of a baby. There's no village. And it's not necessarily because people don't want to be your village. They just have to take care of themselves. They don't have the capacity to help you, even if they want to. They got bills to pay. They got a household to run. I want y'all to think long and hard before you lay down, before you let that guy talk sweet nothings in your ear and lay down and not use a condom. Okay. He could leave. He could cheat. He could beat. As a matter of fact, a lot of that shows up during pregnancy or after the marriage. A lot of these men, and y'all, this is another part of the system. A lot of boys are raised knowing, well, once she gets pregnant, she'll put up with anything. Once we get married, she'll put up with anything because she doesn't want to get divorced, especially if you're raised in religion. They know the shame of you ending that relationship, or the shame of you admitting that you are getting beat on. They know that shame is going to keep you stuck. More than likely, they know it's a good roll of dice. They know more than likely this woman's not going to stand up and leave. That's why they're so shocked when it happens. That's why they're so shocked that single moms are a thing. And that's why you will be punished for your assertion of your right to be a human being and to keep your child safe. You will be punished indefinitely. This is the truth. This is the truth. Look around. Don't believe me. Go look to your local school system. Go look to your local high crime, low income areas. Look at your local lockup. I bet if you were to call any of those people, it started in the school and led them straight to prison.